The millennial kingdom is the name given to the 1,000-year reign of Jesus Christ on earth. Some try to interpret the 1,000 years as a metaphor. Some understand 1,000 years as a long period of only figuratively, but not literally, the actual and physical reign of Jesus Christ on earth. However, in Revelation 22:7, the 1,000-year kingdom is specifically described as a long period of 1,000 years. If God intended to refer to a long period of time, he could have easily done so without explicitly and repeatedly mentioning actual time. The Bible tells us that when Christ returns to earth, he will sit on the throne of David and establish himself as King of Jerusalem. Luke chapter 1 verses 32-33. Unconditional contracts require actual, physical arrival to establish state. The covenant given to Abraham promised Israel a nation, a future generation and ruler, and spiritual blessings. Genesis chapter 12 verses 1-3. The covenant with the Philistines promised Israel the restored land and possession of the land. Deuteronomy chapter 30:1-10. The covenant with David promised to forgive the Israelites, meaning the nation would be blessed. Jeremiah chapter 31 verses 31-34. At the second coming, the promises here will be fulfilled as Israel is gathered from the nations. Matthew chapter 24 verse 31. Converted, Zechariah chapter 12 verses 10-14. And restored under the rule of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, these covenants will be completed. The Bible speaks of a 1,000-year period of physical and spiritual conditions in a perfect environment. It is peace. Micah chapter 4 verse 24. Isaiah chapter 32 verses 17-18. Joy. Isaiah chapter 61 verses 7-10. Comfort. Isaiah chapter 40 verses 1-2. And freedom from poverty and disease. Amos chapter 9 verses 13-15. Joel chapter 2 verses 28-29. Time. The Bible also tells us that only believers will enter the millennial kingdom. Therefore, it is full of righteousness. Matthew chapter 25 verse 37. Psalm chapter 24 verses 3-4. Obedience. Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 33. Holiness. Isaiah chapter 35 verse 8. Truth. Isaiah chapter 65 verse 16. And the fullness of God. The Holy Spirit. Joel chapter 2 verses 28-29, will be the time. Christ will rule as king with David as his assistant. Jeremiah chapter 33 verses 15-21. Amos chapter 33 verse 11. Isaiah chapter 9 verses 3-7, 11-110. Other rulers will also rule. Isaiah chapter 32 verse 1. Matthew chapter 19 verse 28. And Jerusalem will become the political center of the world. Zechariah chapter 8 verse 3. Revelation chapter 20 verses 2-7 gives the exact duration of the millennial kingdom. In addition to these verses, there are countless other verses that point to the actual reign of the Messiah on earth. The fulfillment of many of God's covenants and promises is in a real, physical, future kingdom. There is no sound basis for rejecting the literal interpretation that the millennial kingdom and its duration will be 1,000 years.